Hello, welcome back to the channel as we talk about the Minnesota situation. As in now, we have been told that all the fundings towards the Minnesota daycare places have been stopped, and you have to provide a certain amount of information that is needed for you to have those funds. Let's go and take a look at what they have been saying lately so we can get a better understanding of what is going on. 1 second. And let's go.
All right, now to an update on one of our biggest stories heading into the new year. The Department of Health and Human Services is cutting off all federal child care payments to Minnesota. This in response to allegations of sweeping fraud. And the White House says there will be consequences.
This is a top priority for the administration. The Department of Justice, as we speak, is continuing to execute search warrants and subpoenas. People will be in handcuffs as a result of the fraud that Governor Walz has allowed to occur for many, many years.
Well, a YouTuber who made a viral video on the scandal was seen squaring off with protesters outside of a daycare center. We have Garrett Tenney. He has more on all of this from Chicago. Good morning, Garrett.
Molly, good morning to you. This is a big move by HHS. It adds to the several other federal agencies that have already paused funding for Minnesota over those concerns of fraud. So now the $185 million a year that HHS provides the state for childcare is on hold. And starting immediately, the agency says the rubber stamping of payments through its administration for children's justification, a receipt or photo evidence before a state can receive that funding. The ACF Assistant Secretary says the pause on funding is necessary until we know how rampant the fraud in the child care space really is.
Any dollar stolen.
It should have been like that in the first place. And it's supposed to be like that. They've even been told that Medicaid is the hardest department and the department you do not want to play with. But let's go ahead and listen to what they have to say.
Yesterday, I spoke directly with the director of the Minnesota Child Care Services Office. She could not tell me with confidence whether those allegations of fraud are isolated or whether there's fraud stretching statewide.
AJ.
Didn't they not say that the lady came out and spoke and said from the investigations from yesterday?
HHS is also setting up a nationwide hotline for folks to report suspected fraud in the child care space wherever they are. And the agency is also demanding Minnesota Governor Tim Walz turn over detailed records on the daycare centers highlighted in Nick Shirley's viral video. Yesterday, the YouTuber was back outside the Quality Learning Center where he was confronted by a small group that was not happy about what he's doing there.
This is Raymond. He tries to continue.
Wow. I wouldn't have gone back there immediately after how that video went viral, but he's very bold and he's been, hey, a lot of people went from not liking Nick Shirley at all to now actually seeing him as an important journalist in our community.
This was all day yesterday. Hundreds of cars lined up along Cedar Avenue, honking, screaming.
Whether it's a Republican doing the fraud or a Democrat doing the fraud. Fraud is fraud. So we should hold each and every single person accountable for it.
And you'll remember the sign of the Quality Learning Center that had misspelled learning a few days ago. Well, that sign is now fixed. As federal officials say, hundreds of investigators from the FBI, DHS, and ICE are now digging into all of the fraud schemes that have allegedly been taking place in Minnesota now for years. Molly?
Yeah, a lot of questions to come. Systemic issues at the end. I wonder who paid to fix the sign.
In the learning.
Garrett, thank you very much. Garrett Tenney, we appreciate it. Mike?
Center.
Molly, let's bring in Hugh Hewitt, Fox News contributor. Hugh, good morning.
Hey, Mike, good morning.
I'd like to start with a clip from Tricia McLaughlin from Homeland Security, and then I'll get your take on this scandal.
Our Homeland Security investigators, hundreds are on the ground. They're knocking doors. They're going to local businesses. They're going to these sites where we believe that there is rampant fraud. Our Homeland Security investigators on the ground are also seeing that these suspected perpetrators are really trying to cover their tracks. They're trying to whitewash the operational facts on the ground, purporting to be a legitimate business, have legitimate business operations, when it's all a fugazi.
What's your assessment at this point, Hugh?
Well, Mike, it is sort of like octopuses wrestling. It began in 2021. It picked up a lot of speed late last year when 78 people were indicted, 52 were convicted. Scott Johnson over at Powerline is been covering this for a few years, but now it's ramped up even more because of the Nick Shirley YouTube video and Director Patel,
78 people.
Attorney Joe Thompson.
That's crazy. As in right now, if you don't know, there have been 97 people arrested, and they're saying 85 of them are of Somali nationalities.
Is probably gone into fraud. So 9 billion. 9B with $1 billion is missing.
That's crazy.
So that will require an extraordinary forensic accounting and a great deal of investigation into finding out where it went. But I think we're going to find it's centered in the Somali community of about 80,000 people in Minnesota. Half of them are American citizens. Most of them are naturalized American citizens of the.
Wow. You see a 9B with $1 billion. I want to also say this have just been started in Minnesota in the Somalian community, but I want to make it clear, this is not what all Somalians do. Even where I'm at, Somalians are very isolated, which I see. They have been isolated to their own selves. They do not mingle with other people very much. I do have Somalian friends too, but it's very few of them that actually live a different lifestyle and an open mind and open to the American way of life. Now, with that being said, there's other communities too that involve in this type of fraud. Not only the Somalian community, even in our Americans ourselves. It just started with them, and it just happened to be they're the first one to be publicized this way.
His strategy is puzzling. Tim Walz keeps blaming President Trump.
Definitely, and with Tim Walz, he's saying, Tim Walz is also saying this is part of Trump's plan to make them look like this. He's been planning this for the longest. I will let you guys listen and tell me what your thoughts are.
Minnesotans. Is that deflection 101?
That's what he said. They've been...
That is,
we will see, but a lot of people are angry with Walz right now. And there's a lot of questions to ask him, which needs to be answered.
Not my dog,
so we will wait to see what he has to say about Trump.
What is amazing to me is that Eric Holder did the vetting of Mike Walz for it took a year to get to 100 million people. And Eric Holder couldn't find, when he was supposed to be finding the person who should be next in line to the presidency. It's really quite astonishing.
And then there's Ilhan Omar, a congresswoman who seems to be taking a victory lap on social media saying, I'm grateful every day to represent the people of Minnesota's 5th district. I came to Congress on a promise of co-governance, and it's been my honor to work with you all to deliver these wins for Minnesota. Together, we're building a brighter future for our communities. And yet, if she's that plugged into the community, shouldn't she have been sounding the alarm years ago?
Yes, and the whole approach of nothing to see here, keep on moving, there's nothing to discuss, will not work. And by the way, it's not going to stay in Minnesota, Mike. There are fraudsters who are connected to other fraudsters across the United States. Since this is primarily centered in the Somali community thus far in Minnesota, about 80,000 people, I would look to Washington State, Columbus, Ohio, Lewiston, Maine. There are other places where Somali refugees have settled over the last 25 years. And if you've got fraud in one community, expect it to travel. And I expect that the FBI, very, very, very experienced in tracing fraud via wire fraud and mail fraud, will be following every tentacle of the octopus prey that I've been talking about. But it is really mind-boggling, and I would recommend, people want to read in detail, the Powerline bloggers who received the Time Magazine Award for Blog of the Year some decades ago. They're on the case. They're digging deep into it, as is City Journal, as is Fox. It's not going anywhere. And Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, all the Minnesota DFLers, they won't be able to talk their way out of this. This is really a nightmare scandal.
And I can guarantee you we will stay on the case. Hugh Hewitt, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Yes, I want to start with the statement, which was a lot of the journalism that's been going on the last couple of days has been really dishonest. I don't want to point fingers at anybody, but I do feel like what was done was someone came to our building outside of operating hours. When there's a specific sign on our door that says our days and our hours, he came outside of those hours and then claimed, "Hey, they're closed." And they're still
That's crazy. Like, yo, it seemed like this scams are easier than robbing a bank.
Outside of operational hours, and then say
or everything.
They're using taxpayer money. That was completely false.
And is this the daycare manager? Let's go see what he had
2
to
to 10
say.
p.m. He was here earlier. I don't see him right now. So it's like, are you trying to record that we're doing fraud, or are you trying to put the Somali name and the fraud in the same sentence? That's what really hurt us the last couple of days. We're open. We've been open. We haven't closed. We've been open for eight and a half years now. We haven't closed once during that period. So I want to touch on that first. The second thing is, which is kind of laughable, is the sign. We messed up the sign. We paid somebody to do our sign. He incorrectly did it. We're having him work on it. We paid him to correct the sign. He said it'll be.
Hello?
It's done by this week. So by the end of this week, our sign will be fried. The third thing, which is the fraud claim. There's no fraud going on whatsoever. Kids come to us, clients come to us, their parents come to us. They're here daily. They leave on time. They come on time. There's no fraud going on whatsoever. Where those claims came from, I mean, if a group of people does
Hold on.
fraud,
How long is the sign? Have the sign been up there?
People that are somebody that are doing
Like,
fraud.
it's like
Every single
nobody ever looked up to
business
look at the sign and know
being a
that,
business
hold
owner
on,
is extremely tough.
this
Trying
is
to
not
raise
right.
kids
Nobody?
that are not yours, that are others, is extremely tough as well. But then for people to come and go like, hey, they're not really working, they're just taking free money. If any of us have children here, raising children is not easy. Trying to help them with schoolwork, trying to build their manners is not easy work. So when somebody comes and does that, it's really disheartening in the community itself. As Minnesota, as Somalis, as people that own this business for 8 years now, we do nothing but to uplift the community, uplift our children, uplift one another, uplift non-Somalis, uplift Somalis to make a better community for all of us. So when somebody comes in and says, hey, they're not doing it, it's just like if he would have came during operational hours and there's no one here, okay, you've got a point. He came, I think it was 11
I understand
Obviously,
that,
there's no
but I
parking
also
lot.
find
If you
it
look around,
difficult that
there's
you are
cars.
helping these
Yeah,
kids with
our employees
schoolwork
Our children
without
are here.
being
Our
able
clients
to
are here.
spell
Don't
learning
come
correctly.
At 10 a.m. and they're like, hey, their door's not open. Obviously, our door's not going to be open at 10 a.m. We're not open at 10 a.m. The sign on the door says that.
So is this what the parking lot looks like every day at this time?
Talk about the process you go through to get a license.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are not familiar with it because not everyone's a daycare owner. Not everyone takes their children to daycare. Opening the daycare license is not easy whatsoever. I see a lot of people pointing fingers at DHS. DHS does a good job to the point that if you ask most daycare owners, Somali or not Somali, it's a really strenuous process. You have to admit paperwork. You have to submit paperwork daily. You have to do a monthly. You have to do a yearly. They have to make sure kids are coming. They have to make sure parents are busy with work or school per se. If the parents are not occupied, we don't get paid. So for example, you bring your children to me. While we're open, if you're at home, we don't get paid for the children. Those children can't come to us. We can decide as they get, hey, like out of
like 1, 2, 3.
Just to do a favor for the parent, we'll bring the parents. But those kids, we're not going to get paid for it. That day their parents stop working or stop going to school, we don't get paid for it. So it's not like, hey, just enroll yourself in daycare. It's not that easy. The parents themselves, yearly, there's a redetermination form. How much they make, where they live, the house income, the size of the house. They have to fill all those out. What kind of income they make, both parents, how much they make. If they make over a certain threshold, the government does not pay for it. So it's not like the government is paying for people that have their pockets full. It's people that can't afford it and are working and are going to school. So the government and DHS make sure that person is not able to take care of their children. That's the only time they can bring it to our daycare or any daycare. If the parent is at home, we're not getting paid.
What do you say to people who say this is like all for show, like all the cars in the parking lot, the kids being dropped off now, it's only a response to that video?
We spoke about this earlier. Let's come on Thursday. Let's come back to me. If there's not this many cars, let me know. There'll be this many cars. There'll be children going in and out because that's what a daycare center is.
Why would the commissioner say that
Oh, what's up, man? Good, are you?
not due to fraud because of space?
You happy out there too?
We've never had.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm just collecting something.
We've never discussed this with our licensor. We have a licensor that we deal with every 6 to 12 months. We've never had spacing issues. You have a certain capacity. We have a capacity of 99 children. We can't take more than that. So we've never had spacing issues. Where all of that came from is completely false. We have kids going in and out. And like I told them earlier, you guys come tomorrow. Check it out again. But what frustrates me is the YouTubers that are making the claims. Where are they now? Like he was here, they were here earlier. You see kids, and now you're not here. So where are you now?
On an
So how many
average day,
employees do you have? Because people think you
Yep.
you're not taking that money.
Yep.
You have employees.
There's employees. There's food that we have to serve them. We have to serve them lunch, 2 snacks, and dinner. For 60 plus kids, that bill is not small. That bill is not small. We pay the teachers, obviously. We have to pay the teachers a good wage, standard, if not more. When they're with us for a certain time, we have to increase their pay. We have to make sure the toys are up to date. We have to make sure even the electronics they use inside the building. It's like the money comes and it's in our pockets. It's hardworking people that right here. It's hardworking parents. It's hardworking employees. It's hardworking owners that make all this happen. It's not one or two people that make this happen.
What would you say to Nick Shirley, the YouTuber, if he was standing in front of you?
I have nothing against him himself, but I do have something against the rhetoric. It's if you're going to be a journalist, just have a moral compass. Like do what you do correctly. If you catch business that are fraud, no one here is with that, or like we don't support that as a community. I don't support that myself. I was born and raised here. I'm not.
We're gonna have to do a breakdown on
the notion
that.
Hey, a certain batch of somebody got caught, so all of them support it. It's like no one. If in any community, any mishaps that happen, the rest of the community obviously doesn't want that to happen. It's a stain on all of our names, as you guys can see. We don't want that to happen. We don't take part in that. We don't like that. We don't want that in our communities. But just to say, hey, a certain company got caught, so they must all do it, and I feel like that's what he's doing. I'm not a fan.
2 to 10 p.m. may not be your typical daycare hours. So can you explain why it is?
The reason for that is we're after school hours. So most of our clients, not most of our clients, all of our clients is after school hours. So schools earliest dismissal would be 2:15 to 2:30ish, and the latest dismissal would be up to like 4:30ish, 4:40ish. So that's when our kids come to us. We don't have anyone in the morning. We deal with only parents and clients that come to us after school. So that's why ours are 2 to 10 p.m. If I just as a side note, if I try to tell you guys, if you try to open in the morning, it's not as advantageous because if the parent has 5 to 6 kids, they're not able to bring most of them because they're going to be at school. They'll bring you an infant, but you'll maybe have 8 to 10 infants. You can't really suffice a business with that.
There was a Zoom call today with the state, with politicians in the House. That said that you closed last week. I'm walking up.
I discussed that with her. We never closed. There was never a sign on our door. There was never a time where kids were told to stop coming. There was never a time we told our employees to stop coming. All that's false information. Like, where does this come from?
From a Zoom call today with the.
No, we were not closed. We didn't tell anyone we're closed. We didn't email anyone. We didn't contact anybody. We have a licensor. There's a specific form that you filled out. You can't just say, hey, I'm closed. You have to fill out a certain paper, send it back. That has to be approved by DHS and then be sent back for you to be closed per se. That was never done.
Looking for an easier way to get
facility for a different place, or how
I'd rather not speak for them, but that's completely false information. That's nothing that we, like I said, filled out and submitted to anybody. So where does it come from?
Can we get a tour of the center?
Not right now, only because most daycares, the issue is
I would like to
parents
hear
do not
from a
allow
parent
us to have
that
their children.
send their
And it's not
kids
just
to
daycares.
this
I know
daycare.
a lot of journalists like to make it a daycare issue. You can't go to
I would
school
like
and,
to
report
hear
children
from them.
because we have forms when we're submitting our students. 99% of the time, the parents gonna say, "Hey, I don't want my child on any sort of camera." But for our own sake, when we're taking them to playgrounds and whatnot, we don't record them because the parents tell you not to. So it's out of the safety of the kids. That's why we specifically ask that the camera's over here and not over there, so the kids are not recording. And once again, I'd like to conclude: the YouTuber that was making the claims, you were here earlier today. I came here at 1 o'clock. You were here. Where are you now? You claim we're closed. You claim we're fried. Where are you? Why are you not here right now? It's like you're trying to put out a certain message about a certain group. I'm not gonna make that claim. I don't want to make that claim without me knowing them personally, but that's what it seems like he's doing from his front. Where are you right now? He was here earlier. He was recording us. We had no issue with it. We told him, hey, just get off our property. You can record. Now he's not here.
Could you just confirm how many employees you have and how many students you're serving on an average day?
We have about 25 employees, and children, we're at 92, I believe it is. Our capacity is 99, so we don't really like to touch 90 and above. We're at 92 right now. Our capacity, though, is 99. That capacity is set by the fire marshal, not, like I said, this is not like something you can just write on a piece of paper. The fire marshal sets the standards for the building sites. We didn't get to choose, hey, that night, we didn't get to choose.
But how many would come in daily? How many kids, roughly?
50 to 80, depending on the day, depending on the weather, depending on if they play sports. There's a lot of different factors that go into it, but children are here. And like I said, I'll conclude this. You guys come here tomorrow. You guys come here Thursday. You guys can come here Monday. The kids will be here. Just federal holidays, just to be clear, I know there's a lot of rhetoric around federal holidays. Federal holidays are paid days for us. So we're closed on those days. Like New Year's Day, January 1st, we're not going to be here. Just to be clear, it's not because it's fraud. It's not because it's closed. Clients and parents all know alike. We're not open. Christmas Day, we weren't open. It's not because of fraud. It's not because we don't celebrate. We don't celebrate Christmas. It's a paid holiday. We're given a certain amount of calendar days throughout the year, which we can submit as paid holidays. And it's one of those paid holidays. So, like I said,
Confirm for us the $4 million figure. We've been hearing that a lot. Is that
don't know where that came from. I have no idea where that came from.
$4 million?
That's a completely false claim. We don't make that much with the amount of children we have.
How much money are you receiving money from the state, or how does the funding work here for you all?
Yeah, I don't think people understand how that works at all.
The funding works. You're getting a certain threshold per child. The younger the child is, the more you get paid. The older they are, the younger they get paid. The less you're paid. So depending on how many children you have is how much you get paid per family. But we don't make those standards. CCAP and the government makes those standards. We don't make those standards. We're not allowed to build a cent more. Like say for example, infant, you get paid a certain rate. You're not going to get paid a cent more than that once you bill it. So if there's a certain amount we make, that's from the kids we take care of. We feed, we clothe, we pick up, we drop off. That's what we submit to the government, and the government pays us for that. So it's not, none of this is stolen money.
The sign you said that
We'll be fixed by this week. It'll be fixed by this week.
Has it been this way for the past 8.5 years that you've been open? Do you know?
No. We paid someone. We paid a graphic designer. Clearly didn't do a good job. We try to get back. To him. I don't want to mention his name in his business for a while now, for like 3-4 months. I'm out of the country. I'm not here. I'll get it fixed. But by the end of this week, it'll be fixed.
The street is also misspelled. Do you notice that? The street is also misspelled, isn't it?
Well, both of those will be fixed by the end of the week. Both of those. But just the rhetoric that there's fraud going on, you guys can feel free to come. You guys can come tomorrow. Mondays through Thursdays, though. We're not open Fridays. It's not fraud. We're not open Saturdays. We're not open Sundays. You guys can feel free to come.
Can you tell us your
No.
Can you tell us your name again one more time?
Ali, A-I.
Eli, last name?
Ibrahim.
Spell?
I-B-R-A.
So how comes it took that long for 3 months to get it fixed, but now it's going to get fixed by the end of the week? Oh my God. Hmm. Hmm. Well, that'll be it for that video. You guys let us know in the comment section what your thoughts are. And if you're not following or subscribe, which helps the channel. Till then, I'll see you in a few hours.